All right. Hey, everybody. This, I'm Jeffrey Turnmire. This is my Friendsgiving presentation, how to grow an account over time with options setups. So let's jump into it here. Like I said, hey, everybody. Glad you're here with me tonight. I know some of my loyal followers have probably come out to see me tonight, but you might be saying to yourself, who is Jeffrey Turnmeyer? I mean, why is he a guy that I should listen to? Well, I'm a self-taught trader. I started out following the markets around the second or third grade, playing the stock market game in school. And once I turned 18, I opened a real money trading account. And here we are, more than 20 years later, tons of lumps and bumps and lessons from the stock market, School of Hard Knocks. I had an amazing year in 2020, making over 7 figures. I had some epic trades, caught the attention of a financial media publisher who asked me to share what I do with other people. I'm an Eagle Scout, and I live by those principles every single day, teaching about the stock market. So some of the other stuff that makes me me, I'm a husband and father to 3, a 16-year-old, 17 and 11 and 12, 11 twelfths. He'll be 18 next month. And then a 23-year-old. I'm a degreed licensed civil engineer. I help run a family engineering business. My wife and I run an urban farm. We sell our wares, our produce during the summer weekends at a farmer's market right here in Knoxville, Tennessee. I'm a maker, tinker. My wife says I collect hobbies for a hobby. I'm a private pilot. I have a small plane, which is a Cessna 182 that I paid off with trading profits in 2019. I'm currently a scoutmaster for my local troop my boys are in. My middle son just got his Eagle Scout Award 2 weeks ago. I'm super proud of him. And as you can see, here's my scout group right here. He's right here in the middle. That's me over here on the right. And my group, my daughter's in here. Her fiance's in here. My oldest son and my youngest son and me all in this picture. And here's me and my wife this summer, just so you get an idea of who I am. Now that you know a little bit about me, let's learn about just a little something about some of my trading methodology. Let's jump into a case study on a trade I did on SAVA, Sierra Alpha Victor Alpha. So this is a 1-week trade. The stock lost 17%, but I made a 6.2% return in that 1 week. So let's jump through and see exactly what happened here. So here's a snapshot of my account on Friday, September 3rd, 2021, after the close. Right here, we can see Sava up here. I had some options against it. So check this out. I bought Sava for $60.62 a share on August 27th, 2021. You can see that right there, the transaction in the history. August 27th, 2021, real trade. I bought it for $60.62 right there. So I agreed at the same time to sell those Sava shares for $45 each on 9/3/21. I did this by selling a call. That's $45 call. I sold it. I got paid $18.27 per share to agree to sell that for $45, to sell those shares for $45. So I got that credit to my account, $18.27. Now that made the total cost of the trade $42.35 per share, which you can see right over here. The net debit was $42.35 per share to get in this trade. Now, after the week was over, I was down on those shares a lot, the tune of $1,000.67, $1,067 right there. 17.6% I was down on that trade in a week. But you know what? The agreement that I made on the front end more than made up for it. That 45 call right there made $1,252. So here's the snapshot of the account the next day on Saturday, 9/4/21. As you can see, there's no Sava shares, there's no Sava calls. The shares got sold. I got paid $45 per share. Right there, the profit, $265 right here. There's no shares or options for Sava in that account now. And they're just not there. So what happened? How did I make this profit? How did it work? When we bought the shares, I agreed to sell them for $45 and immediately got paid cash in credit on the trade to do that. So 100 shares that I bought for $60.62 was $6,062 debit from the account. I sold that one call at $18.27 was a $1,827 credit to my account. So the total cost to enter that trade was $4,235, much less than the $6,062 for the shares. And a week later, I automatically sold those shares for $45 a share. That was the agreed upon price. And the broker did everything for me. Didn't even charge me a fee for doing it. See, they sent me this at 4:40 in the morning. Your call for SAVA was called away at $45. That's what, it signed this position. We assigned that call. Since it was a short call, they took the shares. So 100 shares sold at $45 was $4,500 right there. Credit to the account. The total cost to enter the trade was $4,235. So the total profit in 7 days was $265. So that $265 profit divided by the $4,235 cost to enter the trade times 100 shares, times 100%, we're going to convert it to percent, sorry, is 6.26% return in 7 days. It's the gain, it's the percent gain in just 1 week on this trade. And more recently, I got into this trade on AMC. So we've got it, I pulled the snapshot out right here. So I bought that AMC stock for $36.27 a share on October 22nd, 2021. Bought those shares. And at the same time, I sold a $33 call and agreed to sell my shares for $33 on October 29th, 2021. I got paid $4.04 for that agreement. So the cost to enter was $32.23 a share. Fast forward to October 29th, 2021. We can see it right here, October 29th, 2021 on this chart. AMC is nowhere near 33, and it's nowhere near 36 up here. Those shares got called away. I was paid $33 a share. $33 exit with a $32.23 entry. It's a 77-cent profit on 100 shares. Just $77 profit across those 100 shares. So that's a 2.39% return in 7 days. And remember, I bought those shares for $36.27, and the stock could have dropped $3.27, about 10% from my entry, and I would have still made that 2.39%. In fact, if we look at the close price, it was $35.37. See it right up here. I got the crosshair right on the October 29th. The close price was $35.37. Those shares lost 90 cents over the week. But we still made a 77-cent profit, and I didn't have to worry about being right or wrong on the direction. And you might be saying to yourself, I've seen this before. It's just called a covered call. Well, yes, it is a covered call. I would not go so far as to call it a standard covered call. Most of the published methods that I've found across all sorts of Investopedia and E-Trade, and you name it, most of them say that you should sell a call above the price that you entered the shares, an upside call, not one that is lower than the entry price of your shares. And there are plenty of opportunities like this in the market every week now that options are out trading stocks on a dollar for dollar basis. You can enter these trades with downside protection and not have to worry too much about the direction for the week. Now, I'd like to jump out of the slideshow a little bit and just kind of go through some of the market. I know lots of you came to this thing, you wanted to learn something. This is a little trick that's out there on how you can turbocharge your account with some options. But we're going to jump over to Trading View, where we can look at stuff, and you guys can ask me for symbols if you want to. I'm willing to take requests, but I'm going to start with the ES, which is S&P 500 futures. They trade round the clock, except for a little timeout period. I like to use this because the chart does not form gaps. I like to kind of get my market bearing by looking at the futures charts, and then I jump into other trades. So I do rely heavily on technicals, just like Mr. Boxer, who was talking before me. So I use Fibonacci and market technicals for pullback and support levels and resistance. So ES had a nice pullback down here to the daily 144 EMA. Looks a lot better when I throw it on the daily chart, some of these marks. So we came right down here and bounced at the end of September, beginning October. We've been running up. We hit the first target, what I had as first target, and then we've kind of cruised right on through after barely pausing there. We found some resistance at the second target, this 1.618 level on the fibs. We kind of bounced down, we've bounced back up, and we're right there testing it again. Now, if we can break higher than that, let's remove this arrow off of here. It doesn't mean anything anymore. If we can break higher than this 4706 level, then we're probably going to see price march right on up here into December. We'll probably end up around this 48 to 40, 48.80 price level up here, 48.8350, I believe it says. So we'll probably end up somewhere around that 48.80 level if we can break higher than 4706. It'll probably happen moving into December, something like that right there. Now, if for whatever reason we fail to sustain a break above there, then we could see a retrace, and it could come all the way back down over here to around the 4,400 level once again and revisit that kind of area. So this gives me a market direction. I like to use the S&P 500 to just get my market direction. And a lot of the trades I do, I like to follow the market direction. Now, big tech is its own thing. The NASDAQ 100, NQ, if you're not familiar, is the futures. They also pulled back. They did not make the second target yet. So I'm actually long a micro NQ contract looking for a move up to this 16,600 area right up here on the second target. Now, when we broke above this level back here where I had a big red arrow, it was my sign to go super bullish. And I did ride some ES contracts on this move right up here to the first target. And as ES moved up to that, it broke way on up through all the way to the second target. So when these two charts really came together with synergy, it was telling me now was a super bullish time. And it turned out to be very bullish. Now also on the Russell, the micro caps, the Russell 2000, which is really more like Russell 1800. We had like an 8-month consolidation, and then we finally, just the last couple of weeks, broke out here in November. And we did break out very violently, came up to a long-term fib. If we zoom out on the weekly chart, we can see that this weekly pullback we had in 2020 projected us right up to the second target, the same 1618 fib up here. We're finding a little bit of resistance as we come up into that area. Breaking higher than that can set the Russell up, and this can be played with the IWM. The Russell could be set up to reach up to the 3650 area by breaking above this 2479 price resistance that it has right now. That could be a very powerful move on the IWM, which is about 1/10 the size. If we look at IWM, see the same kind of price action at 20. And we're going to be looking at the 2245 area. So we're going to be looking for a target that's up around 365. We run this off of here. That's handy. I do have the free version of TradingView just because I don't like to charge my members to see things. So right around 341. That's probably going to be that next target up there for IWM. Some other charts I like to keep an eye on are oil. I do have a few energy trades going on right now. I see oil heading for this target area up here around $88 a barrel. I thought I was going to go up there last week, but then we got a quick retrace and we're making a higher low at this point. When on the IWM, that's probably going to be a long-term trade that's going to last out to, let me hop back to that in just a second. I'll talk about timing. So my oil trade, I am looking for that to happen by the end of the year, probably. That is a higher low right now. I like it. If we break lower than this price we had back here early November, then we could see a deeper retrace, maybe back down here into the mid to low 70s. That's something to keep an eye on right there. Is this support level based on the low we had right there? All right, let me hop back over to IWM and talk about time. Let's jump out to the week. Now, you see this bullish price action right here. It kind of ran from March, and then we got this consolidation into July, August. So we had March, April, May, June, July, and maybe 3 months or so. We had really strong bullish action. Then we kind of rested for August, September, October, right in through here. All right, you see that? So then we had this consolidation up here that was February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, and then now, and even October. And now as we come into November, we're breaking higher. So we could see this little spurt right here, November, December, January, February, March. So it's about December, January, February, March. It's 3 to 4 months. So we can see a 3 to 4 month. So somewhere around mid, if I was going to buy options or something like that on IWM, I think I would buy probably mid, around June or July options if those are available, to set yourself up to capture that move, because this could take well into March or April, and you don't want to run out of time especially if you're buying out of the money upside options. I'm just the person that gets stuff right here and there. I know somebody did ask about Bitcoin in the last session there, wrapping up. I do track Bitcoin and make some predictions. So let's pop on here and see what I've got on the daily. So after this pullback we had in September, I was telling a lot of people that I actually went long right here on this. It kind of faked me out a little bit. We had a 3-wave retrace into this support zone right here. I've had long-term support right there. And I went long here. It did pull back, but then it immediately flipped back bullish a few days later. Didn't ever break below this support zone. So I stayed long. I'm up about 30% on that position. I do have many positions, but that one little additional position, I'm up about 30% right now as we came up into this zone right here. And we hit the second target at 1618. We did try to poke through a couple times. We've gotten a retrace. I think this level, the 1272 at 5700 is going to be support if we get down there. If we can't hold that, then this prior high from right back over here, that's going to be our support level coming across. And it just happens to line up with this 144 EMA. Why do I use the 144 EMA? Because I find it holds support quite often. It's Fibonacci based. 144 is a Fibonacci based number. So I use the 144 EMA, especially on cryptos. Now I could see this pulling on back, but it may find support right here at the prior low that we had from earlier in October, or late in October, right there. Pull across, we can find some support right there. If that holds, then it's going to go super bullish and probably run up this next target area between 76,000 and 84,000. I expect that to happen probably sometime between now and the end of the year. I'm quite bullish on Bitcoin. I have to pull this over just a little bit more. I do track this regularly, and you can follow me on YouTube, and I provide weekly updates on all this stuff. So Ethereum, I do like. It did not make the second target. So I do feel like that this one is going to try to retest this prior high over here. Same sort of situation. Retest this prior high right here as support, and then break out higher to that higher target. Now, what is that higher target? It's 5153 roughly. 5150 would be my round number that I would use. And that's where I'm expecting Ethereum to go in the next few weeks. Yeah, I can look at Polygon. I've got the chat up so I can see y'all. So I can check out Polygon in just a minute. Another popular one, Doge. I've been kind of bearish on it, expecting it to drop. It's had a real hard time breaking above the 144 EMA on the daily here. It keeps finding resistance at that 144 EMA. So I'm expecting Doge to probably retrace down, maybe find support around 14. Anchor is one that I like. I'll pop that one up. I just recently got on this because it showed up on Coinbase's top gainer several times in the last few weeks. And I got in around 12, I think it was, right back here when it was breaking higher. I've had this like resistance zone, support resistance zone, where it's had trouble breaking through this 618 EMA or 618 fib level right here off this giant pullback we had into the summer. It just finally started breaking up through it. It kind of retested it last week. It's having a little trouble pulling away today or yesterday. The day just kind of rolled over. Maybe it's just kind of riding right here. So now we've built a kind of a secondary resistance with these tops right here. We need to see some price action that gets up through there now. Kind of remove that red arrow. So we need to see something that gets bullish right up through here. If we see that, then we can quickly see prices. I just talked about this with some of my members and followers. We could see prices up into this 31 price range. And that's just the first target. Above that, we could see 53, which is a huge gain from 12. We're like 12 cents, 12.7 cents right now. So that's a huge opportunity right there. All right, I don't actually do credit spreads on Doge. So I'm sorry if you got the impression I do that. I actually trade crypto straight, just buys and sells. There are, you can trade options on Bitcoin and Ethereum through the futures market, but you cannot, I haven't found anybody that's let me trade spreads on like Doge. I do see short, and there are, I know there's some brokers out there that let you short and do leveraged cryptos, but I don't believe in that sort of thing. I'm more of on the safer side, more conservative. I do trade these quite a bit though. I have a little chunk of Anchor. I do hold. I've mined out at 0.2 Bitcoins. I do mining myself. I hold more than one Ethereum right now. I'm not a huge trader. I haven't, even though I've been trading a long time. My real success came last year. So yes, you can buy Anchor at Coinbase. In fact, that's where I hold my Anchor. Now, Uniswap. You may be familiar with their platform, and they've been having a hard time getting through this resistance zone. And it's they try to break through back in August and September. I was looking for a touch of this target area, which it did right there. Came back up, retested again, which is not Since it is not breaking higher, that's not bullish. So this thing is probably looking to retest these lows from over here. We'll probably revisit these levels right down here around 14. That's what I'm thinking right now, based on this chart, since it's been unable to get bullish. All right. Let's see. Somebody said poly. Can you help me out with a ticker on that one? Poly USD. There it is. I see it. It's not one I have looked up very much. Obviously, I don't have a bunch of lines drawn on this one. I do like to wait until they have a little bit of history. I can look up in dot in just a minute. All right, so let's check it out. See what can we see on this poly chart. Come on, TradingView, work with me here. Great free platform until it doesn't work. All right, so this pullback from September to mid-September to late September, or early September to late September, came back up, tried to break through. Excuse me 1 second. Tried to break through this 618 level right here. Just couldn't do it, and we just tried it again 3 days ago. It looks like, or 2 days ago, since today's kind of just rolled over. And if we do get above that, then we'll probably see some higher poly prices up around $1.72 and a stretch goal around 239. But right now, not breaking above that 618 at 92. Yeah, 92 cents. That sets it up to possibly roll on over lower. So getting a positive daily close. I like to look at these on a daily chart just for the ones that I don't watch every day. Getting a solid close above the 618 level. Like I said, around 90, let's call it 93. We need to get above 93 at this point. Getting something solid closed above there. So we haven't been able to make a daily close up there ever. We spiked the high and then we immediately dropped. So we haven't ever gotten a daily close above that level. So getting a daily close up there is going to be nice and bullish for poly. All right. DOT. Looking for the DOT USD crypto. Is that the one you're looking for, Mr. Kelly? All right. So right here, just run a fib. Let's check it out. We just broke through, couldn't hold. This is almost like Bitcoin right here. See, it couldn't hold this second 1618 level. We've dropped back. This one did retrace fully all the way back to this prior high right here. So holding above this, super bullish, but it could, always possible, to come touch this 144 EMA again. See, it broke up, came down, touched the 144, pulled away, came down again, pulling up again. It may revisit another time. Cardano? Sure, I'll cover Cardano. It's on my list down here too. So this one right here, dot. Let's make it a little bigger so we can see exactly what I'm talking about here. So holding this level is immediately bullish. If it gets a daily close below it, even just a little below it, it's likely to visit this guy right here, 144 EMA, and it may poke just a little bit through, but it may run down here. If it holds that 144 EMA, I'm looking for daily closes. So daily closes below here that don't just immediately pop back up are bearish, but little spikes below it and keeping the daily closes at this 144 EMA bullish for the next run higher. And you could set up another fib in here. You'd have resistance at the 618, and then you'd have targets at this next level, like 62.13 and 72. All right. I guess real muddy real quick, but let me see if I can pull that other fib off. There you go. There's your possible fib levels there. 62.13. It's 72.72. All right. So there's my, that's just my 30-second analysis on DOT. I do this all day, every day for people that follow me. Run charts, looking for stuff. All right, ADA, I do have a chunk of that, so I have a little bit more chart going. Here's a perfect example. Coming down to the 144 EMA, it bounced and came back, and now this is kind of a bearish setup. It did retest. It's kind of holding this 618 right here, but we've broken below the 144 EMA. So this is setting up a bearish setup right here. If it can't hold that 618 level that it just tested yesterday/today, then we could easily and quickly return to the bottom of the box right here. Bottom of this zone down here. Right back around $1. We've held that bottom of that zone several times all summer. Tried to break out higher, actually got to the first target, and then came right back in. Couldn't hold the 144 EMA, so we may set up to be a bigger drop. Yeah, it could be right now it's kind of a sale on ADA. I kind of want to see what happens. One day spiking down. If tomorrow, since the day just rolled over, if today it spikes right back up above the 144 EMA, bullish. But right now, not so much. All right, GC. I have the continuous contract on TradingView for gold. Let me pop that up for you. So I've been looking at this downtrend right here. Been following it for a while. We did break solidly above it. We broke through this resistance zone from these prior highs in July and September. We broke above that. So right now, I'm kind of bullish on gold, looking for it to retest this resistance in 1920. That's just the continuous contract, whichever one's the active one. So that's what I got on gold. ZC. Let's see, ZC. What to do? ZC. I don't know if it'll give me corn or not. I'll try. Yeah, there we go. Corn futures. I do trade futures. I do trade cryptos. I do trade Forex a little bit. Yeah, so right there, we're having trouble at this 144 EMA. So right now, I expect, since we've got, Mr. Boxer before me did talk about, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves. I do consider myself a little bit of an Elliott wave-tician. So right now we've kind of got this 1, 2, 3, working on a 4 maybe, and we could see a 5 pop up to the 618. We'll probably find some resistance. I'm not saying that it won't retrace to the 144 again, but if it does, we'll probably come up to that 63.10 area. And then it may do a deeper retrace for wave 2 after it gets 5 off the bottom. We could come back into the same zone right here that we're finding resistance, be a 618 retrace before it can set up for the next wave higher. Right now, that looks like a bullish setup on corn right here. The 830, the clouds, the green cloud represents the 8 above the 34 EMA, the 8 EMA above the 34 EMA, and the red clouds are when the 8 EMA is below the 34 EMA. So right now, I would be bullish on corn. I'd probably have to jump down to the 30-minute chart and see what we got cooking as far as entries. All right. You said ZL. I'm not quite familiar with that. Oh, soy oil. Yeah, ZS is the one I know. Let's see. 1 exclamation point. Yeah, soybean oil. My wife's allergic to soy, so I don't actually trade soy very much, just on principle. Well, it's been quite bullish, but right there, it's retracing. Is that a 3-wave? Yeah, let's see. Give me 1 second here. Let's see. Hold the 144 EMA. Make a higher low. Yeah, so this could be. Well, that's a. If it holds right here in this area, the 58.40 area, that can be pretty super bullish. Let's see what I zoom it up just a little bit here. So we can see a move. I go off the tails, but I count the bodies as holding support. Call me crazy, but that's the way I do it. Looks like this one could go from 58.30 up here to 67.13 as a first target, 70 is next target. Your support that you're going to be looking for to hold is right here. So a stop below 56.60, 56.65 ish. That's going to be the stop for a run up here to 67 or 70. And of course, as soon as you clear the 618 with any kind of gusto, then you want to lock in your profit. I'd probably be trailing it up all the way. All right. ADI, I do hold some, but I don't necessarily like it. All right, XRP, I see that question. And it was kind of bouncing off this 144 EMA on the daily. So holding above there, it's going to make another bullish spike. Not holding there, getting below here, we could turn into something bearish. So that's something to keep an eye on. Is these tails right here coming up, breaking that trend line, can change it into a downtrend. This was a higher low right here. Move my tool just a little bit, see if it quit lining up. Since that was a lower high, excuse me, a lower high, higher low and lower high. This is kind of forming a wedge situation here. It's either going to break out higher or lower here, and it'll probably do so violently as it tightens up and tightens up. So as it approaches the point of this, it's going to build more and more energy, and once it finally picks a direction, it'll go that way violently. All right. ADA, yeah. And I covered that. I thought I did. I'm sorry. Yeah, I covered ADA. That's Cardano. Yeah, I covered that. Yeah, Lulu, that Cardano is ADA. If you're not familiar. SPY. I got you. Okay. SPY is a lot like the the ES I covered earlier there. So we've got these fib levels here. We're kind of bouncing twice. If we break above 471, everybody says zoom up a little bit. Let's zoom up a little bit. Zoom. Let's get in here a little closer. So 471.13. This number right here. If we get above there, this is like a daily close solidly above into this next space up here. And we're looking for price to do something bullish and get up to this 489.96 area. So my expectation above that line is going to be a move up here. And based on this kind of trajectory that we've had here, and just rough like that, let's grab that line, move her over here. So yeah, that could take us into the first or second week of December to get up there. And of course, if we get a deeper pullback, we could come all the way back down and revisit this 144 EMA again. Our support zones to watch out are this level right here, around the 453 area. Now, if you went bullish up here, you'd definitely be watching this area right here, or a break back below this 471 area. So if we get a close up here, you want to be watching for a close back below this 471 price area. That's kind of the parameters of the trade there. All right. What else we got? I know people came with questions. I'm here to help you guys. I taught you a little trick on how to make some money on, selling some in the money covered calls. What else we got? Anything? Any other cryptos? Any other anything? Any other stocks? I'll show you one I got into today. Clear off my marks here because I was using a different chart. Yeah, so that's a one service offer that I look at it as my savings account. I buy the stocks, agree to sell them lower, get paid the premium on the options because these ones I'm looking for in particular have a super high call volume compared to the puts. So what I'm looking for is what they call a high call skew. And when there's a high call skew, which means the implied volatility on the calls is wicked high compared to the puts, and the volume on the calls is high compared to the puts, it provides this unique opportunity where you can sell calls 10 to 20% underneath the stock price and still make between 1 and I think this week we're making 6.5% on the pick of the week this week, maybe between 1 and 6% in a week. And the Sava trade I showed you was 20% under the stock price and still made 6.2% or something like that in a week. I mean, that's a pretty good return. And the stock can drop 20%, drop 10%. And you don't even have to get it right on your direction. I mean, you can be bullish on it and still do this. You can be slightly bearish on this and still do this and still make your percent return and walk away. And you don't have to worry about it for a week. I do it. I took $10,000 out of a savings account, threw it over here in July, and I'm up 50% already on that account. Just doing this since July. So that's one of the things you can follow along and get in with me. I'll teach you how to do it. So I got into this LCID. I bought a $60 January 2022 call, January 21, 2022. And I paid $5 for it, I think. And by the end of the day, it was up 93%, I think it was. It's pretty wicked move right here. This one, I believe it's in what I would call a gamma squeeze, which is where the call, due to the call volume, it's requiring market makers to have to buy the shares to offset the risk of higher prices, which is just pushing it higher and making them have to buy more shares. It's going to be in a loop, and the self-feedback loop. And I'm projecting that this could play out, my intermediate levels around 65, 61, 65. And I have another level at 75. And then this target up here around 90, around 95, really. I see this could pop very quickly right up in there. Yeah, so if you're a follower of mine, you're here. That's the Knoxville Trade Club, is what the in the money covered calls. That's what that is. Call it the Knoxville Trade Club. I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, so I call it the Knoxville Trade Club. Steve, get with me after this. We'll have special offers coming up next week for Black Friday. So anybody that wants to follow me, I'll give you an opportunity to follow me for super cheap tonight. If you're already a follower for me, we're gonna have some great deals next week for Black Friday. Just teasing that out there. All right. So there's my play on LCID. All right. That's my little tidbit, something I got into. I'm also super bullish on Mara and Riot, which are Bitcoin miners. Mara, I think, just finished up a gamma squeeze and came back to earth a little bit. Anybody that's been following me for a while, I do have a bunch of my followers, looks like. So I was super bullish on Mora. These gaps that it did, they were crazy. They were, Bitcoin didn't really make those crazy gaps like that. So Mora was being a little bit unreasonable, came up, hit the second target, pulled back violently. You can blame it on the news if you want to. I was expecting it to pull back because this was a little bit overdone. And now today we had a little bit of bullish candle. Started it kind of the wrong candle, wrong color candle. It gapped down and then ran back up. So I expect this support area to hold now. It's kind of like the area we had prior consolidation. So I expect this to hold and we're going to get forming something bullish again. Gamma squeeze is where an extreme amount of calls are being bought, relatively few puts. Calls are bullish and they're being bought, which gives people the right to obtain the stock for a price. That's a right when you buy a call. It's a contract. It gives you rights. You have the rights to those shares. Now, the market makers are usually the ones who are selling these calls in the environment we're in, especially when there's a huge demand for calls. So what happens is huge demand on calls. The market makers have to hedge their risk for those calls because they have to deliver the shares. So at some point, the price starts moving up at such a clip that they're required to buy shares just to keep their books balanced, to be able to cover the risk that's on those calls. And it creates what, you can look this up on Google. AMC, GME, they're all attributed to being gamma squeezes. A lot of the crazy moves that happen on big tech stocks, NASDAQ, end of last year, SoftBank is credited for causing gamma squeezes in the options on those. The repeated rips that we would have in late last year, in the fall time, September, October, November, I think it was. The crazy rips we had are all attributed to gamma squeeze through SoftBank and some other players getting in on it too. So there's a phenomenon. It's relatively new because of the extreme volume of options that are being traded. And I've got some special tools and some things I'm working on to help find these setups. But this one looks like it was one of those, and Riot is possibly on the list to be a next candidate. It tried a little bit and got smacked down at the top of its resistance zone up here. And then gapped down today on the crypto's pulling back a little bit. So how am I playing Mora? I have like 8,000 shares. I've started accumulating it as prices as low as 11. So I've got quite a few $1,000s tied up in Mora. I have quite a few $1,000s tied up in Riot here too. I do have covered calls sold at 40 and at 47, the top and bottom of this resistance zone right here on my Riot shares. I'm also quite bullish on HUT, and I expect a move up into this $19 to $30 area sometime running into the end of the year. Thought we were going to do it last week, but we're getting a little bit of pullback. We could see a pullback about the same size of this. Pullback over here. So we could see a pullback back into around the $11, $12 area before we set up the next run higher. Yeah, I can look at S-Bucks. Sure thing. All right. So right now, it's looking kind of bearish. It did have a really great setup, and then last week, this coming into last week, we had this super nice looking setup. We stopped right at the 618 level, pulled back to the right back down to the 144 EMA, and this may signal that we're going to get a retrace at least back down to. I'll have to zoom this up so we can see it. So running up off of this bottom, topping out up here, we may see a return back into this 109 level before we can get super bullish again. Holding there is a nice setup to
to get a nice run higher again. If we don't hold there, we'll probably return all the way back down to this low at 104. It was a shame it couldn't maintain that breakout last week. Yeah, Disney, I do have a prediction on Disney already. Check this out. When I said it, when it breaks below this low here, which it did on earnings, we were probably going to revisit this 150 level. That's pretty darn close to being there. I think 155 was actually my price. We got pretty darn close today, it looks like. The daily chart. I thought we were going to break a little bit further back, but we broke a little further out. Yeah, we're getting real close to the 155 level. 158.68. I think we got a little bit lower to go there. And where does that kind of number come from? It comes off the bigger chart here. Didn't quite get enough bottom there. I don't even have all the fibs on here, but we could easily see a retrace back to the 140 level, all the way back over here. This could be a start of a downtrend all the way down to this 140 level. All right. Yeah, so 609 million bought the dips on Disney. Yeah, they could watch their dips lose another $18. All right, FSL. Yeah, that one's coming right up into the targets that I had on the smaller time pullback. You're right up into that resistance zone. Look at that right there. There were some fib levels off these violent pullbacks here. I was projecting. Yeah, look at that, right in there, right to the targets. To 11. The major resistance is going to be up here at the top of this box where we peaked out in June. That's right around 1280. I'm not a buyer of this until we're breaking out higher up here, but a lot of these intermediate targets has been a great zigzag, with the trend pullback continuation stock. That's one of the things I like. So I'd be a buyer above that 1280 area probably. WKHS workhorse. I actually have some shares that are super underwater on this one. I'm just selling calls against. I rode this little guy down here. I think I caught this pop and then rode this down. I've just been selling these $14 calls up here, waiting for it to pop again. Can't say anything great about it because it could definitely retrace all the way back down to 3. 1, 2, 3 way. So that was just not great. That's bearish. There's no bullish to that workhorse. All right, ride. They lost the contract, and yeah, that was another that looks pretty bearish to me. Looks like it's gonna go for a new low. All right, NVDA. That was I put out a report on that one, predicting a move. Gosh, we put that out August, I think. Yeah, I think we put the report out in August, predicting a move to the 250 area. Definitely got there. Up into this 300 area. That's looking like resistance right at this 302, this 2618 level. Now, if we get something above that, then we can see a run up to this 395 level. We tried to get above 302 and it couldn't hold on to it. It gets a little crazy up in there. Yeah, there were no solid closes above that 2618 level. Got everything that closed above, like the next day, got slammed right back down, right back below, trying to get above, right back below, try to get above, right back below, closed right at it. So that's consolidation. We may see a little bit more of that if you get a solid close right up in here
And this is going to be a resistance point now that we've got that up there. A solid close up here, and then a break above that is a confirmation. Then we're probably on the way to 395. Q actually started a covered call on Q today. Had some pretty good. I actually did an upside call on this one for 20 going out to the end of the week. The momentum had created some upside call premium. I bought some Q, willing to write it down a little bit and sell more calls. So right now, that looks like a 1, 2, just going like this. Just for those moves to be the same, we're coming right up on it. It'd probably go up to the 1618, 25. Yeah. That's comparing the first move to the third move in case it's a corrective. Whereas normally I do it off the retrace, like so. And we found some resistance at the 1272. We may retrace back down to the top of that prior high before we can break out to the 19. Retrace to here before we can, it goes like this. Come up to this level. Then we retrace back many times. And then we find some strength to break out to the next level. And then we retrace back. And then we get strength to go to the next level. Oh, missed it. Ah. Come on. Like that. And then that's starting to look like price action, you see? Yeah, I know where Tom found that one too. We're not going to talk about it here. All right. CBOE. Yeah, looks pretty bullish. We got this whatever happened over here. Whoever made that spike in the price action. That's going to be a little bit of resistance. It's got to break up through. But that's a pretty bullish chart. I mean, that's bullish action. All right. That's about all the time I got for charts. I'm going to pop back over to my slides, finish up real quick, give you an opportunity to join me. If we got a minute there, David.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you for joining me at the conference tonight. I'm honored to join such a quality group of traders that Timing Research has put together. And I just love teaching traders like you guys about the markets. And I don't want to give you some big sales pitch tonight, but I do want you to know a little bit more about me and how I trade. I've created a special report that contains the special sauce between that call selling thing I showed you at the beginning that has over a 96% win rate in real live audited trades. So, and I put a bonus pick in this report that you can execute, go to the market with in the morning, and it should be tradable for a few days at least. It's all inside this Knoxville radar report. If you're in the audience right now, you can snag it for just $4. That's mostly so I know you're a real person, not a bot, grabbing my report for free. And so if you're interested, head over to jeffrytrader.com/friends or call 855-454-0816 and reserve your copy of this report. We'll get it out to you. And I describe the whole system, how it's different, and I give you a way to look for it. So jeffrytrader.com/friends. And that's going to wrap me up for now.